The dark expanse of space held no breath, no pause, no echo. It was the pure silence before a note is struck. The ship was a sliver of obsidian, a tear in the velvet, nothing of the cosmos. It moved without moving, a silent ripple in the fabric between places. Its name was not a word, but a concept, a feeling of cessation. The humans much later would call it the event horizon. Aboard the vessel, the air tasted of recycled metal and static. It hummed a low, perpetual thrum that vibrated. In the marrow of the single occupant, its name was Kael, a designation of function. Its form was elegant, a confluence of polished gray sinew and calm light. It did not sit, it existed within the command hollow. Its many eyes seeing the past, the present, the possible futures, all at once. It was a gardener of worlds, a tender of the slow green flame of life. Its current focus was a small blue marble, suspended in the ochre light of a gentle sun, the third planet it teemed with. A frantic, beautiful chaos, a riot of unchecked biology. Kael observed the human species. They were a storm of contradictions. They crafted beauty from stone and hatred from fear. They reached for the stars with one hand while, clutching sharpened sticks with the other, they were infants screaming in the cradle of their world. The mission was clear: observe, and if the parameters were met, catalyze the next phase of their development, to nudge them from childhood to adolescence. A delicate procedure. It required a subtle touch, a whisper in the noise. The event horizon slid into the silent orbit of the moon, a ghost behind a tune. Kael chose the point of contact, not a city, not a nexus of power. Those places were loud with pride and fear. It chose a place of quiet desperation, a vast flat plain where the soil was cracked and the sky was a relentless bowl of heat. A small human settlement clung to the dust. Here life was a stark equation of water and will. It descended at the cusp of night, the vessel a piece of the falling dark. It settled on the salt pan without a sound. The air did not stir, the sand did not melt. It was simply there, a black angular flower grown from the earth. Kael stepped out, not with a dramatic ramp, but a seamless unfolding of itself from the hull. The air of the planet was a physical assault, a symphony of scents, hot dust, dying vegetation, the iron tang of distant rain. It was profoundly alive. It adjusted its perception, savoring the raw data. Then it saw the child, a small human female, perhaps 8 of their years. She stood at the edge of the scrub, her feet bare and dust-caked. Her dress a faded echo of color. She held a broken plastic bucket. She did not run, she did not scream, she simply stared, her eyes wide. Pools of reflected starlight and shiplight. Kael approached its form, shifting subtly, softening its edges, blurring the lines that might scream predator. It knelt, a gesture learned from 1,000 years of observed data. The action was alien, yet the intent was clear. It made itself small. The child took a step forward, then another, her curiosity a force stronger than protocol. Her name was Lena. Her throat was parched, her stomach a hollow ache. But this was a new thing, a wonder. "Why are you so shiny?" she asked, her voice a scratchy whisper. Kael. As communication was not sound, it was a direct resonance in the mind, a concept of warmth and inquiry it projected. The feeling of a question. "You are not a car," said Lena, her mind interpreting the resonance through her own limited lexicon. "You are a person from the sky." A reasonable translation. Kael resonated the idea of a gardener of life. A helper. Lena nodded, as if this were obvious. "Are you here to help the well is angry." It stopped singing. She turned and walked. Kael followed its long, graceful limbs, moving with an unnatural fluidity over the rough ground. She led it to the heart of the village, a circle of crumbling mud-brick homes surrounding a dry stone hole. The air here was thick with the smell of despair. And cooked maize faces appeared in doorways, dark eyes wide with terror and awe. A man. Lena's father stepped forward, a thin reed of a man with hands toughened by failure. He raised a rusted machete. His arm trembled. "Spirit," he said, his voice cracking, "leave us be. We have nothing for you." Kael ignored the weapon. It looked past the man to the dry well. It extended a sensory filament, a tendril of shimmering light that snaked down into the darkness. It felt the deep earth, the memory of water, the stubborn barrier of rock that had shifted, blocking the ancient aquifer. It was a simple thing for Kael, a matter of precise, resonant frequency. It placed a manipulator pad against the stone well coping. A deep hum resonated, not a sound heard with ears, but a vibration felt in the teeth, in the water cups on the tables, in the very bones of the earth. The stone within the well groaned, then sighed. Lena's father stumbled back, the machete falling from his grip. From the depths came a gurgle, a cough, a triumphant roar of rushing water, fresh cool water, smelling of deep rock, and time erupted from the well, splashing over the stones, soaking the parched earth. A collective gasp went up, then a sound Kael had never heard in its long travels, pure, unfiltered joy. It was not the miracle of the water that was a simple engineering task, it was the human reaction that fascinated Kael. They did not simply drink, they wept, they laughed, they danced, they splashed each other, they filled every container, then stood letting the overflow soak their feet. Their faces turned to the sky in gratitude. The transformation was instantaneous. The aura of the village shifted from gray defeat to a brilliant gold of hope. Lena walked up to Kael, her hand outstretched. In her palm was a single, sun-warmed stone striped with quartz. A treasure. Thank you, Sky Person. Kael took the stone, its manipulators folding around the tiny offering. It felt the weight, the texture, the residual warmth of a small human hand. It was a greater gift than any data stream, any cosmic acknowledgement. This was a token of trust, a shared moment. It stored the stone in a secure matrix, within its core, a physical memory. Then the skies changed. The thunder was not of water but of combustion. 3 brutal, angular crafts descended like falling axes. Their surfaces were scarred and hostile. They bore no emblems, only the stark geometry of ownership. They were the harvesters, a rogue faction. Kael knew them well. They did not garden, they culled, they harvested biological uniqueness for sport, for trophies. They had sensed the event horizon. As subtle energy pulsed, the wells awakening a beacon in the quiet dark. Panic returned sharper. Now the villagers fled. Kael stepped forward, placing itself between the descending ships and Lena's village. Its form shifted, shedding the soft edges, hardening into something weaponized. Its light burned brighter, colder. The lead harvester ship fired a beam of corrosive green energy. Kael deflected it with a shimmering shield. The impact sent thunderclaps across the plain. The second ship targeted the village itself, a spiteful act. Kael moved with impossible speed, intercepting the blast. The energy dissipated against its form, but the backlash was intense. Kael felt systems fracture, ancient circuits overloading. This was not its purpose. It was a thinker, a creator, not a soldier, but it would not let this vibrant, fleeting hope be erased. It reached out with its primary systems, not to fight, but to communicate. It broadcast the raw experience, the feeling of Lena. Stone, the sound of the villagers. Joy, the taste of their shared water. It sent the profound, irreplaceable beauty of this fragile moment. The harvester ships halted their assault, hanging in the air for a long moment. The violence of their intent met with the quiet tsunami of shared feeling. They were hunters of fear and resistance. This was a language they had forgotten, a data type that corrupted their simple, predatory algorithms. Without another shot, they turned their engines, flaring a bitter red, and ascended back into the star-scattered blackness, leaving only the smell of ozone and relief. Kael stood swaying, its form flickering, damage reports cascading through its mind. Lena approached again, her small face etched with worry. You are broken. Kael looked down at her. It resonated, a concept of completion, of a task finished. It showed her an image of a seed planted of green shoots in cracked earth. Will you come back? Kael resonated, maybe someday I'll look to the stars. It then turned and walked back to the event horizon. Its gait slower, now its light dimmer. It folded back into the hall. The black flower sealed itself. From her cracked earthyard, Lena watched as the ship, the Sky Person, a fragment of impossible magic, became insubstantial like smoke and wind, and was gone. The only proof was the laughing water in the well, and the cool, smooth stone now missing from her pocket. Aboard the event horizon, Kael drifted back into the silent sea between stars. Its mission parameters were updated. Its core memory now contained the vibration of a child's laughter, the chemical signature of gratitude, the weight of a single stone. It navigated not by pulsars alone, but by the faint lingering echo of a connection made. The universe was vast and cold and silent, but it was no longer empty. It carried a story written, not in data but in dust and water, and the fearless curiosity of a child who spoke to a star gardener and called it friend. The ship moved on a sliver of obsidian, carrying its wounded guardian and its precious cargo of meaning into the endless, welcoming dark. A silent ripple, once more a note held in the infinite pause, a testament to the fact that the most powerful force in the cosmos is not destruction, not technology, but the offering of a simple stone from one being to another in a moment of shared wonder.